know what? I do truly believe that luck is just about when, opportunity meets preparation.
Yeah.
And it feels like you were prepared for an opportunity.
Understanding to look at the bigger picture, whether you look at the quarter, the year, the future, that's really what matters. And yeah, I think we've learned to be okay when things are down, and they're going to come back up.
Well, hello, and welcome back to our third episode of Driven Minds. These episodes are where we get behind the dealership, actually meet the founders, get to find out who they are, what motivates them, how they've been so successful. And today we are joined with Talib Alrubai, who is the CEO founder, and I hope I pronounced his name correctly, of the Alba Corporation, which is more than just a dealership. And we're going to find out more about that over the next podcast. So, Talib.
Afternoon. Thanks for having me, Craig. It's always a pleasure to have a catch up and a coffee with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, have you got a coffee?
Yeah, all great.
Excellent. He's got a coffee. That's good.
All the energy.
I mean, look, I think we could spend a whole podcast talking about your empire. How did you even get into cars, and how did you move over to Dubai? And what we normally do is start with Talib at school.
Talib at school. Honestly,
so come on, tell me about that.
I was a bit of a nerd or a geek at school, you can say. I loved studying. I loved doing well at school. But I think the problem most people have, once you finish school, once you kind of graduate, you find yourself lost, not knowing what to do, having to pick, a long-term career at an early age is very difficult. So
definitely.
I just got on a random flight, went to Dubai. I've always heard about Dubai and just honestly applied for every job possible. I remember going on classified sites or job sites, and just when I reached page 100, which was 1,000 jobs every day, that's when I would finish. So
well, let's unpack some of this to start off with. So firstly, where did you go to school?
So I went to school in Perth, Scotland.
Right, okay.
Perth High School, and that's where I met my business partner now, Mark. And
really?
We both kind of decided to make the journey.
So you were both at school together?
Yeah. We went to
you stayed together all the way through?
Yeah, we were best friends at school, and we decided to make the move to Dubai.
Oh,
and
brilliant.
We've got a lot of the guys from our school actually are Alba just now. And
seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great story. So how many other people went to school with you?
So I think we just had someone join a week ago as well, Paul. There's 12 of us at least. Yeah.
What, from your school?
Yeah.
In Perth?
Yeah. Old friends from Perth, from school.
Oh, wow.
I think we were always hesitant at the start to, obviously when you hire friends and family, there's always, there's always issues, but we've been very fortunate with the people who've got on board. You do need that level of trust, people you can really rely on, and being in Dubai, especially at the beginning, you're a stranger, you're in a new land, and having people you can trust has its benefits.
I am definitely coming back to this point. I mean, that's 12 people from your school or hometown is amazing.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to that. But so at school, I'm going to use your words. You said a bit of a geek. I wouldn't say so. But I mean, did you do well at school? Did you?
I mean, honestly, I loved doing well. I was most subjects. I was really, into them. I would love studying and doing well in exams. But honestly, once I finished school, I had the choice of going fully into a career of university, into the typical jobs, your engineering and everything else. But nothing that I really liked, honestly. I wanted to explore something new, something I've never heard of before. And when I came to Dubai, I found just that it was I was intentionally applying for jobs that I didn't recognize. It was just names and titles that I've never heard of during school or growing up. So I thought I would just apply to everything and see where I end up.
Numbers game. See what happens.
Just went and worked at I did so many different jobs in Dubai, and worked for a magazine selling yachts, and for an oil company, for a car rental company, for a jet ski company. We did all sorts of things. But the last job I worked for was a car workshop.
Right.
And I was doing marketing for them. So about social media and SEO and websites and so on. And the owner had a few cars around the back. He said, "Do you want to help me sell some of these cars?" And kind of thought, why not? Put them online, sold them fairly quick, and took about 6 months. Mark joined the same company as well.
Right.
And
This is a garage.
yeah, it's a car workshop.
Repair workshop.
Yeah, repair workshop. They've grown now. They're you don't want to mention names, but they're doing really well right now.
Right.
So yeah, 6 months later, we saved around 7,000-8,000 dirhams at the time. We saw a Jaguar online I remember, it was a Jaguar XF, the first car, and it was posted for 65 or 63, something like that. So we went, we bought it, put it online, sold within 2 days for 75, and we made, at the time 10,000-12,000 dirhams. We thought
That works.
this
That's
is
good.
nice, and we enjoyed the car a few days. It was fun to drive it. So yeah, honestly, we just built it from one car. We kept saving the money, kept putting the money back in. It became 2 cars, 3 cars, and later we grew and we've got.
From small acorns.
Yeah, man, that's from the Jaguar one. So we've got a lot of passion for Jaguars now. If you see our showroom when you come, there always has to be some Jaguars there. It's
I'm a Jaguar man.
yeah,
myself.
they're amazing cars.
Yeah. I had the luxury of when I was in the UK, I was part of the Jaguar VIP because they were a big client of Auto Trader, and so I was with the VIP club. And I got to drive all the brand new ones basically that for 3 months,
Wow.
put low mileage on, and then they would send them off.
What was your favourite?
It was the XJ Supersport, the 5-litre Supersport.
Okay.
That
was an amazing
what a hell of a
car.
car.
The way it drives, the way it handles the road.
Yeah.
Have you driven the XFR?
No.
The R is one of my favorite
Sounds
cars.
incredible.
They don't make them anymore, but
No.
I think the oldest maybe 2009 or 10.
I actually, when I came over here, one of my first cars I bought was an F-Type.
Okay, yeah, they're amazing cars.
Amazing
Yeah, I love
cars
them.
until my wife drove into it.
Oh no,
And it wasn't
Yeah,
amazing.
okay.
But anyway.
Yeah.
All right, well, look, so before coming to Dubai, you had no experience in cars whatsoever.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Even in Dubai.
So you're the
Honestly-
first person I've interviewed that hasn't started off in the UK
Nothing.
and whatever. So you came over to Dubai,
Yeah,
no real business experience.
Yeah.
You just went, right, I'm going to try everything
absolutely.
and see what sticks.
Honestly, and I always give that advice to anyone that comes to Dubai or you have family or friends or kids of relatives. They always ask me like, what should I do? Now I've graduated, and I always say the same thing. If you're applying for jobs or going to places, don't laser focus. I want to be this, and then I just look for those jobs.
Yeah.
There are things you've never heard of. Even us when we advertise jobs online, we come up with titles sometimes because you know what the job is, and you're like, okay, what should we call? We need someone to do this, right? And they don't necessarily need a degree. They just need to be good at computers or good at certain things. And honestly, people do apply and they end up doing something very different from what they studied, and they do amazing and they grow. And so I always give that advice. Don't limit yourself. Even though you've studied 4 years or 6 years at university, focusing on one thing, don't limit yourself for the rest of your life.
Oh, that's great advice. And look, I think it's so true as well because the world is changing so fast now.
Yeah.
There are jobs available I'm older than you, but there are jobs available now that weren't even invented when we went to school.
For sure.
And if you go and do a degree for 4 or 5 years, there'll be other new jobs invented that you weren't aware of when you started to do a degree.
Sure.
So I think being flexible, being able to apply different skills into different jobs, they are crucial, I think, for anyone entering the workplace.
Were you in the car industry before?
I was in the car. No, so I was in the magazine industry.
Okay, wow.
So I basically worked for W.H. Smith's.
Okay.
And I was buying Auto Trader for West Midlands, basically.
Oh, okay.
And Auto Trader liked me, and I liked Auto Trader, and that's why I moved across and then started to work in Auto Trader.
Okay, amazing.
From there. So I've never worked in a car dealership.
Okay.
I have dabbled in cars. I do like buying and selling, but as a hobby.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, even for me, I wouldn't say I'm a car expert. I know, and I think it's a benefit that I had. I know some friends of mine who have dealerships and they're car fanatics, and they end up limiting themselves when it comes to buying cars because they look at the cool car that they're passionate about. I see it from a regular end user. At the beginning, we saw like this car. How much would someone pay for that? Like I would pay. It looks nice. The AC's cool with the way it opens. The little things. That end users want to enjoy from a car rather than the technical specifications as much.
Yeah.
But I think eventually it's important to have a bit of everything in the company.
let's get back to, you were in the garage, you were with Mark,
Yeah.
you were selling a few cars,
Mm-hmm.
you bought the Jaguar. At what stage then did you say, hey, Mark, there's a business here, we need to go and do our own thing? And was it just you and Mark? Or was there...
Yeah, it was just us with the obviously working at the workshop. Honestly, when we bought that Jaguar, the owner of the business, rightly so, had a problem with it, saying, "Well, you know, you can't be doing both." So
How unreasonable he was.
So he actually gave a choice. He said either
Excuse me.
you stay on with me, but you need to sign in no compete for the next 2 years. You cannot buy and sell cars outside, or you would have to leave. And so honestly, we had an hour to decide, and we sat down in our little office, and we're like, okay, what do we do here? You know, do we just want to keep doing this, or do we need to take this massive risk? And honestly, we just said, you know, we didn't come to Dubai to not take risks, and this is, you know, we'll go for it. We can get another job, but you know, maybe this is an opportunity that we can't.
It almost feels like Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
You and Mark, did you go and talk to the wall for and then come back?
Yeah, we had a little meeting. So, yeah, I mean, it worked out amazing. We've been very fortunate. We've made, obviously, there's a lot of risk when it comes to any business, as you know, and when it comes to cars especially. And I think we've been very fortunate. I think for the first 100 or so cars, we never made a loss. So we were, you know, proud of like the momentum. I remember the first time it was an Audi TT, and we were looking at this car might make a we didn't want that on our books, but obviously it's a win-loss.
So you talked to the wall, you came back and went, we're out, we're going to start our own business.
Yeah.
How do you start your own business?
So, honestly, I would probably do it different now, but at the time we did it the perfect way. We didn't look at it as a business. We thought, okay, if we sell 2 cars or the money that we have, if we flip that 2 to 3 times, how much is it going to make us per month? And the money we were earning, we were comparing that. Okay, this would actually give us a comfortable lifestyle. And then when we did make the money, rather than spend it, we thought, okay, if we put the money back in and buy a little bit of a more expensive car, it makes a little bit more money.
Yep.
Then our potential lifestyle could increase, and we just kept doing the same thing. And rather than obviously spending the money and wasting it or partying and things like that, we decided to just keep putting the money back in. Once it became 2 cars and 3 cars, you're addicted, right? You just want to keep growing it. Yeah. We never really realized it's an official business until much later down the line when you.
So were you acting like a freelancer?
Yeah.
So you didn't have a premises as such.
Not on official premises. So we had the Google Maps pin on in JVC. I remember we had an apartment there, and we had the Google Maps pin, and we started very early with social media as well. So I remember people weren't really using Facebook to post cars or things like that. So once we were by car 30 or 40, I thought, okay, took all the old pictures, posted them all on the Facebook page, marked the ones that were sold as sold. It looked like an older page at the time, and honestly, people just kept following and liking, and we grew so quickly. Because it was a new concept in terms of posting cars. Yeah. We had the Google Maps pin on our building, and I remember people show up, it's like, where's the showroom? I'm looking for Alba Cars. But yeah, we would park the cars in the basement. We had a deal with the company management. It was quite a new building, so there was a lot of empty spaces. So we would show cars there.
Right, okay.
But yeah, less than a year later.
At what stage did you think, okay, we've done enough now that we need to make this official? This is definitely a business. Yeah. Was that just gradually crept up on you, or was there a defining moment where you went, hey, Mark, this is a proper business now?
So honestly, it went... when we first realized we needed a trade license, I remember we were there was an auction we wanted to sign up for. And we went, I was like, okay, I want to buy some cars. And they said, okay, well, where's your trade license? Where's your documents and everything, you know?
Have you got it, Mark?
Yeah. That plus, obviously, banks, obviously using your own personal bank to 100,000 went in, 100,000 went out. They start saying, you know, you need to get a business bank account. So Obviously, now we've come to realize they were growing pains, and we just adapted. We just needed a license. We got the license. Needed the business bank account. We got it as we go.
Yeah.
And then when we got, let's say, around 15, 17 cars in stock, we realized now we need space. And that was really the first time we started looking at warehouses and premises to move into. And I think when we went to our first warehouse in 2017, we thought, okay, this is, this is a business now. We've got a signboard. And
where did the name Alba come from?
So Alba means Scotland. I remember the moment actually we were sitting in the apartment. I was looking at domains and having to choose a name for the trade license eventually as well. And we had 3 in mind. It was Alba, Caledonia, and there was a third name as well. But we decided Alba. It's easy to pronounce, easy to spell.
Yeah.
If someone calls you, you say Alba. It's a 4-letter word. It's very easy.
So it starts with A. So it's the front of the directory.
Yeah.
That's always good. That's always good.
Easy, and Arabic as well is very easy. It's also 4 letters, very easy to hear.
Yeah.
All the letters are available in both languages as well.
Yeah.
So it was a nice, catchy name, and glad we chose it. Glad we didn't go for Caledonia.
That'd have been tricky. That'd have been tricky. Trying to spell Caledonia might be tricky.
Well, yeah, we're glad we picked it. It's obviously a name that's very special to us now. We've trademarked the Alba Cars, Alba Homes, and all that.
Must be nice seeing Alba on the registration plates when cars pass.
Yeah.
Every time I see an Alba registration, I'm like, I know someone would be proud to see. So it feels like then the business grew organically. You could spot an opportunity. You then moved into your dealership, became an official dealer as such.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you see the gap then in the marketplace? Where did you sit down and say, okay, here's where we can perform well?
Honestly, it started off with pictures. So we thought, okay, we're looking at all these ads online. Pictures are terrible. They're really horrible. Like you're taking a close-up picture of half the window and half the door trying to sell the car.
Still have that.
Yeah.
Still have that.
So we thought our trademark is going to be, we're going to show the nicest, like if you look at this car in pictures, you're going to say, I want this car and I want the lifestyle that comes with the car.
Okay.
So our thing has always been to get the nicest picture possible with the nicest background possible. That's always been, to this day, we still aim for kind of that. So people aren't just looking at the metal, they're looking, okay, they should feel something when they look at the car.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, a nice picture also tells people, okay, these guys care about what the car looks like in pictures. They care about what the mechanicals are like, and they've checked it, and all of these things reflect, obviously, the quality of the car that we want to sell. But yeah, that's how we started off. What makes us different? Plus, we wanted to make sure that we make the journey, because we went to the RTA and we went to, when you go do your insurance, and there's the passing test and the recovery trucks, and there's a lot of processes, and if later on if a car breaks down, where do you go? And it's not so easy owning a car in Dubai or buying one and selling one. So we thought we'll take care of everything, right? We want the customer to come, say, I like this car. If you want to buy it through bank finance, you want to pay for it cash, whatever you want to do, let us take care of everything, right? You can just go home, relax, give us a week or so, we'll take care of the whole process. So yeah, that's something that we've continued until now. People do like to come, just worry about the car they want to take, rather than a whole list of processes that come with it. This has obviously grown right now. We have teams, so the way we structure the company is we have a team for every step of the process. So the customers, we have experts when it comes to sales, the sales coordinators, the aftercare team, and everybody else.
So for you then, the gap was digital marketing and photography, and that customer journey. Just making sure that was seamless, people owned it all the way through. Yeah, okay.
Definitely. Yeah. Also the types of cars. I think at the time we started, 2017, most dealers focused on more, let's say, what they thought would be easier to sell cars, right? Your Japanese, Korean brands, they are quick to sell. There's a lot of export and things like that, but dealers would be too scared to buy a Jaguar. right? Or even, if they go into BMW, it would be an X5 or something standard. So we wanted to go for Alfa Romeos and, the unique cars. Because like I said, we had, we were looking at, okay, I would pay for this much for this car. It actually looks nice, it drives nice, and we know the history and we know it's a quality car. And when we posted them, people were calling, people were inquiring, people were aware of these cars from their home countries. And
it's such a diverse marketplace, isn't it? And people want to be individuals here as well, don't they?
Definitely, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What do you drive?
Well, I drive a few things.
Okay.
So my weekend drive with the kids is a Raptor.
Okay, nice.
And the reason I bought the Raptor was just a car I'd never have anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
So
you go off-road? Do you take off-road?
Yeah.
Amazing,
it's set up for off-road as well.
Okay.
So.
Do you know how to handle the sand and if you get stuck?
I think I do. I'm not sure my wife agrees, but I love it. I love it. So amazing. And then a couple of weeks ago, I bought a car that I've been wanting to buy for a while. So I bought myself a Bentley Continental, an old
amazing.
GT,
Nice.
The W12.
Lovely cars. Amazing
So it's a 10-year-old one.
Yeah.
But it's been well looked after.
Amazing.
And I just felt like I had to drive a British car.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So I had the Jaguar. That didn't end well, as I told you. So, I guess you drive multiple cars, do you? You're not, or are you?
Honestly, I'm not. We went through the phases at the early stages where we're like, okay, it's a Ferrari and it's a this and it's a that, and we've driven them all, and then after a while, it's you go for practicality, or for me at least. Mark is a big car fan. He still loves the newest cars and trying different things, and he's always changing his car. For me, I've had the same Tesla for almost 4 years now.
Oh, you're a Tesla driver.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about that now with Musk?
Honestly, focusing on the car, I think it's the future.
They're
I
great
think
cars.
they're
cars.
Practical, reliable, and really we've got to, watch the market. And if the market and the customer demand is going in a more electric direction, we really have to.
Yeah. No, definitely.
To adapt.
There's some fantastic product coming though, isn't there, from BYD and other providers?
Yeah,
so.
So I'm switching from Tesla to an Avatar.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Great name.
Yeah, it's the Chinese brand, electric.
Yeah.
Super nice car. But yeah, I think I'm going to go electric for the foreseeable future.
Now you've switched, not going back. You're happy with.
I like it's practical.
Yeah.
Like I said, for people who love the more mechanicals of cars and the engines.
Let's get back to business for a while. So I want to go back to the fact you've got 12 people in your business that you've went to school with,
from
or
Scotland.
yeah, in Scotland. How does that work? How do you make that work? Because all 12 of them are. Did you have more and some of them didn't work, or?
Honestly, we started with one, and we just going up one by one. And
so this was a conscious effort with you and Mark to say, you know what, let's bring in guys that we know.
Honestly, at the beginning, it was, we're not going to hire friends and family, and this is strictly business, and that's it.
Yeah.
But you obviously talk to people, and then you think, okay, I think this person would actually be good at this, right? And you talk to them, and I know them, and I trust them, and they're a good person. And there's a lot of things that you, especially in Dubai, in the car market, you need to have very high levels of trust in certain things.
Yeah.
Whether it's suppliers that you want to protect, whether it's contacts, whether it's sometimes someone needs to move $1 million dirhams for cars from here to there, right? There are things you really need to trust people.
Yeah.
So we brought the first person in, and honestly, they did an amazing job. It's good to have them within the team. They bring positivity. They're on the company's side. They've got the company's back. They're not looking, at this as a career other than at Alba, right? This is my company, and I want to grow it. And it was a positive, and it changed our mind when we, in terms of hiring friends. Okay, we can try it again at least, every time we've tried it, every single person has stayed with us, and nobody has left. Luckily, so far, it's been.
Does it feel like an alumni?
We've got in every department, And
very good. If anyone was listening to this podcast who's thinking, I haven't employed any friends or family yet, what would your advice be to those people?
I mean, you have to be careful, obviously, who that person is, and they have to have certain skills. You can't say, I'm going to treat them like everybody else. there
You
has to
don't.
be,
You don't treat them like everyone else.
you can't. You can, you can pretend and put all these, but you have to have additional rules for them. You have to say, okay, because of my reference, you have to set an extra example. You have to do things the right way more than everybody else. You have, you have to have more strict rules for these people.
Yeah.
I think generally people might think, okay, this is, they're their friend from Scotland. I can't, say anything to them. I can't. So you have to make sure that it's very clear. They're an example to everybody else.
Okay.
And yeah, I think.
Do you actually have that conversation with them and say?
Yeah, absolutely. If
Okay.
you say, you can't do anything wrong here. Like if people can, and there's warning letters and things like that. But
you've got to be
can't.
above the law.
Yeah, because when you set that example, when you do something wrong, it means you're, it sets a bad tone, right? If you're friends with the Talib or Mark, then the rules don't apply to you. So obviously people make mistakes and things like that, but I think people have really taken that seriously, that advice. We've been fair to them. We have an amazing work environment, whether they're from Perth or from anywhere, and people love staying and they hang on to the job and they do follow the rules.
I want to talk about the Alba Corporation.
Yes.
So you've got lots of different verticals. But before I go on to that, where do you see the opportunity now for your car business in the UAE? Where do you see the growth opportunities?
Honestly, at the moment, we've got, for this year at least, we're focusing on productivity, which is automation, digitalization, improving processes, which ultimately are, reflect on the customer. So we want to reduce the number of days that, let's say someone comes in, picks a car, they want to go through bank financing. So from the day they come in till the day they receive the car, we want to minimize it. We want to be the quickest place.
How long does it take to get car finance on average?
Honestly, it does vary because bank to bank case.
But on average, what does it look like?
At the moment, our average is 3 to 4 days.
Okay, that's better than I thought, actually. So that's come down, has it?
It has come down. The banks have improved things, but also you really need to be on top of it. You need to, if you have enough volume, you could ask things of banks. You can say, I need more than one dedicated RM.
Right.
I need you guys to, when I send you the documents, you need to reply within X amount of hours. You measure them, you put KPIs in place, and they do take it seriously because they want things to go well as well. But I think for us it's pretty fast. For us, we do things fast. As soon as the customer books the car, they go into the finance department. We have the coordinators who are on them. Passport copy, please. ID, please. Everybody knows the timelines and everyone is working towards the same goal. And
how long do you think it is before someone walks in with finance and drives out the same day? Comes in.
Sorry?
How long do you think it is before someone comes into a showroom, buys a car on finance and drives out the same day with a car?
Honestly, not too long. I think within the next couple of years, I think it's very close. Banks are going into that direction.
Yeah.
The level of risk in Dubai for banks will always be higher because obviously in the UK, most people are already home.
Yeah.
Here, people come and go all the time, right?
Yeah.
There's a number of years people stay in Dubai. It's starting to change, obviously, as of recently, but for banks, the risk is much higher. I don't think it will be as simple and easy as it is in the UK, but it will definitely get faster, for sure.
So growth for you is, just really improving the process, being super efficient, giving the customers an amazing experience.
Absolutely.
Do you see any other growth for Alba Cars?
So we're looking, obviously, in terms of increasing stock size, in terms of space. That's a big one for us. So at the moment, we're in talks and negotiating a bigger showroom, some things, but potentially within our own space to expand.
Okay. Would that be indoor or outdoor?
Indoor. It has to be. In Dubai, you can't go outdoor; it's too hot. We're looking to expand the space, but again, it's speeding up processes naturally gives you more space. If you get the car, if you get from the day you get the car in to the day you hand it over, if you reduce the number of days, you naturally will end up more space,
We had Luke on the podcast, Luke from Approved Cars a couple of weeks ago, and he, obviously massive indoor space, and they're now building barbers, which I don't need, but a cigar room and retail.
Amazing,
stuff.
That's incredible. They're
Is
doing
that
amazing.
You're thinking about doing in terms of building that into?
Honestly, at the moment, we are focusing more on space for car. We have the waiting area for customers and so on, and office space. But the focus right now is expanding space for cars. We want really the main experience for the customer is to come in and not have to go anywhere else. Is to find all variety of brands and types and budgets and as many options as
so
possible.
It's selection and then it's just efficiency.
I think like if they're coming to the car showroom, the biggest part of the experience is to be able to walk away feeling I've just found the car I've been looking for however long. But of course, it's nice. We have obviously people at the door in terms of making customer feel welcome, and we have our waiting areas and everything else. But the focus is the process. The focus is buying the car for us as much as possible.
Got it. All right. So moving on then to the...
But a cigar room sounds amazing as well. I'd be in there.
I'll see. The Alba Corporation.
Yeah.
How did you get to that, right? So how did you get to a stage where you thought, actually, we can replicate this and do it across multiple verticals?
Yeah. So honestly, it started with Alba Homes. So we were thinking, okay, so what we do in Alba Cars is when we started, we've taken quite a traditional industry. And when I say traditional, back then, really there was limited number in terms of areas where you can go and there are cars. It's very traditional. It's not really digitalized. It's not, So we thought, what other industry could we connect person A with person B, and we have nice photos and nice marketing and nice deals and, so real estate was very similar to cars in many ways. So we started Alba Homes. It's something that we've been really pushing for the last 6 to 12 months. We opened an office in JBR. It's been going really well. Similarly, we started Alba Jobs recruitment. So again, connecting people,
Is that jobs for any jobs or any specific jobs?
It's recruitment. So our focus is assessments. So what we do is anyone can come into our portal, add their CV, add their information. But what makes us different is people can take as many tests as they would like. So let's say you're an accountant. We have accountancy tests, cognitive abilities, specific softwares, if it's Xero or QuickBooks and so on. So when we do connect them with someone who's looking to hire, it's more than just looking at their CV. Okay, they're 87% using Xero. They're this good, So it gives people something measurable, and it comes from something that we actually do internally already. It's a process that we have within HR where we test everybody that applies with us, and it makes a big difference. You can't really stare at a CV and know is this real? Is it true?
Especially over here as well. I think where recruitment processes aren't particularly robust.
Yeah,
is that where you see the gap? Is it?
Yeah. I think what I mentioned I did when I first moved to Dubai, where I would just apply to everything. I think a lot of people do that as well. So whatever job we post, there are hundreds or thousands of applications, and you can't really expect anyone to go through all of those. And it's not just ending up hiring the wrong person, but you might miss that amazing person that ends up going somewhere else. So for us, it was like, what system can we have in place to quickly identify the best? Really was the focus for us.
How do you spread your time over all these different parts of the empire?
Honestly, I think it's because I enjoy it. Time kind of passes. So for me, I would work from morning till night, weekends and so on. And I do genuinely enjoy the technology side of things, the processes and things like that. I do like to increase productivity. So I would sit with different people in different departments and just kind of look, okay, why are we doing it this way? Let's do it faster. Is there an easier way? Makes your job easier. So I do enjoy it. And we have a team that report directly to me, business operations, or technology. So our main job is to kind of look at every aspect of all the businesses and just make things better, tweaks all over. That's really our main job. But I think time flies and just got to manage it, with a good calendar and good slots.
So you're not passionate necessarily about one part of the business, but you're passionate about the technology, the efficiency, the digitalization. That's your
obviously
driver.
Ultimately we want the whole business to grow in terms of how many cars we sold that month and how much money was generated and so on. That's ultimately what's going to feel amazing at the end of every month. But we do realize that doing these tweaks, it shows in the numbers, right? But of course, you have to have people that you trust heading sales and heading purchasing and heading different departments. You have to have those.
You've got 12 of those.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Are you going to bring more across? What do you, going back to the car industry, what do you see as the future of the car industry, the short to medium term future of the car industry here in the UAE? It's going to grow, there's no doubt about that.
For sure.
What sort of growth do you think we're going to see?
I think the biggest change will be the variety of cars with the Chinese brands that are coming in.
Have you got any Chinese brands in your...
Yeah, we get them, and honestly, demand is crazy for them because it's good value for money. They're you know, you get a car fully spec'd, cheap.
Yeah.
You know,
it's cheap,
the cars, and
it's almost a disposable kind of money, isn't it? Where you drive it for 3 years and throw it away.
Yeah, I think honestly, what I think is going to happen is people will buy cars, let's say, thinking, okay, I'm going to use this for 3 to 5 years, and cars won't be on the road for as long as they used to, right? You're not going to have your 10, 20-year-old cars still on the road that are, if they've been taken care of, they can last. But the thing with Chinese cars will be a 5 to 10 year kind of lifespan maximum. And
do you think that's down to build quality, or do you think that's down to people just not caring as much?
I mean, there's a reason they're cheaper. The quality is obviously not to last as long as you know.
You also wonder whether people will invest in servicing or stuff, or just think actually there's no point and I'll just drive it till it's dead. I don't know. Because people,
that makes sense.
You know, if you put these Chinese cars on a loan, I mean, it's nothing, is it? You know?
But also, we've recently started seeing more expensive Chinese cars coming.
Yeah, they're not all cheap. Yeah, definitely.
They're. This is something we're exploring at the moment. In the next couple of months, we are going to bring in some more expensive brands just to see, you know, market demand. Are people? Yes, we know people are buying cheaper Chinese cars.
Yeah,
but are they willing
premiums?
To pay more?
Well, I guess BYD are really going to help with that, aren't they? Because some of their, is it the Leopard 9 or Leopard 8, whatever, they're kind of 250, 260,000 price points. So.
I'm not sure yet if people are willing or ready to pay that much. Yeah. I think they will eventually in 2 to 3 years' time, once Chinese brands have built up a name for themselves in terms of when it comes to quality and so on. But I'm not sure if people are ready just yet to, when you start thinking, okay, do I spend $250 on this or a Mercedes? You know, it's
I agree. So the industry's going to grow. It's going to change. There's going to be definitely more Chinese products on the market. Yeah. Anything else you think is a dynamic that we'll see here in the UAE?
Again, when it comes to electric cars, it's quite an unknown right now. You know, some people it went through a phase where we thought everything's going to go electric, but I think now with US politics and so on, we don't know. Maybe we're going back to fuel. I think, the biggest change I think will be electric cars and Chinese brands. I think when it comes to the market, Dubai market is going to grow massively. I think there's a lot more people coming in, so we might need to get more stock and be ready.
I saw a stat that said there's 1,000 people a day so far this year that have moved into Dubai.
1,000 a day, a day. Wow, amazing! It's. I mean,
it makes sense, doesn't it? Because we look at all these huge communities that have been launched.
Yeah, and they sell out with. We know that in Alba Homes we have agents queuing up from 12 to 13 hours before even they open the doors just to get a token, and it's, you know, within hours everything's sold out. And we always, you know, the big projects, you have to really be the first 50 people there to get anything.
Wow.
You know?
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Well, that's a fascinating story. I mean, I'm trying to wrap it up, and if I think about your journey from Perth to being jack of all trades in Dubai, to finding something which made sense, to building a network with your, you know, colleagues back or school friends back in Perth, and building, you know, this Alba empire, which is really impressive. I mean, well done you for getting that. You must be very proud of yourself.
We're very proud, and we're grateful, obviously, for, like I said, we've been fortunate. We had a lot of opportunities, a lot of contacts within the UAE industry have helped us a lot when it comes to whether it's banks, whether it's.
You know what? I do truly believe that luck is just about when, you know, opportunity meets preparation, and it feels like you were prepared for an opportunity because you did lots of jobs, you tested lots of things. Let's end with that, right? Give me I want 2 bits of advice from you. The first bit of advice I want is, What do you give to anybody who's thinking about launching their own business? What are the 2 or 3 things that they've got to think about doing?
The number one, which we kind of learned the hard way, is get the right accountant from day one.
Ooh, okay.
As,
There's a story
you
there.
know, as quick as well. There's a few stories. Yeah. Really, obviously, when you first start, you want your capital is limited, and you want to save, and you don't want to get a very expensive accountant taking 50% of your income or so on. Right? It doesn't make sense.
Is that what happened?
No. So what we did is we obviously outsourced it to a company that had a junior come in.
Right.
And then we got someone else in place. And honestly, it took us, I would say, after a year and a half, we decided, or 2 years, we decided, okay, let's do an audit and let's get things cleaned up. And we discovered our accounts were just not our accounts. You know, just like numbers all over the place, and they were all wrong. And the problem was that we did eventually find the right person, but it's very difficult to go backwards and fix things that are wrong.
Definitely. Okay, so get a good accountant.
Absolutely.
But not an expensive one, but a good one.
Someone good, someone you can trust. And not cheap, right? You have to invest in a good accountant. This is the number one thing. If I was to go back, I would definitely make that move.
Get a good accountant you can trust, and also get an accountant that doesn't just count the money, right? Also gives you great financial advice.
Absolutely,
on your capital.
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
great. You know what? That's the first time anyone's given that as an advice. So that's great. So get a good accountant. What else?
Second, if you are going into partnership, make sure you choose the right partner. So obviously, we've been very lucky when we have very different views. So Mark takes a lot of risks. I calculate things a lot more, but put together, we make very good decisions. We allow each other to make mistakes. We don't blame each other if things go wrong. And we don't fight, we don't argue. Okay, you want to try this? If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. I'll try this, it goes wrong. So having the right partner, willing to take risks with you and complements, what you have missing is very important.
Yeah. It feels like that's just an amazing partnership to have from school.
Yeah. It's
just shows you how important a good school is, right? To meet people
absolutely, for
build
sure.
that network.
Definitely.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else you give? Can I have a third one from you? What's the hardest lesson you've learned?
The hardest lesson I've learned was that it's okay to lose sometimes. So obviously, as I told you before, the first car we lost money on was tough, but it was very important to learn that, okay, we're not going to make profit. And we can't look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
The first month that was a loss for us was also a very heavy lesson to learn from. But again, it was understanding to look at the bigger picture, whether you look at the quarter, the year, the future. That's really what matters. And I think we've learned to be okay when things are down, and they're going to come back up, not to panic that it's over.
Like the US stock market.
I know it's not that volatile, and things will go up and down.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Well, look, thank you so much for coming in. That was a great story. I love it. I think there's so many things there that are inspirational, hopefully, for people who, either want to start a business, move over to Dubai, or people who are just getting onto that career ladder.
Yeah.
I think there's some really good advice there. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Craig.
Look after yourself.
Pleasure. Thanks,
Cheers.
man.
Bye-bye.
See you.